Welcome to Smacky's Garage. Today we're going to be working on the Factory 5 GTM again. So I have a problem where my entire house smells like gas now because of this kit car. The way the car is set up right now, there's two fuel tanks on either side, the vent line that connects to the top of the tanks, and then right now I don't have the vent going anywhere except to the ground. Now I need to fix this, mainly because my wife keeps complaining about the smell of gas pretty much in the garage anytime she walks through it and in the house.
Yes.
What does it smell like?
Gas.
So we're going to fix this today. Now the way the Factory 5 GTM is set up, there's two fuel tanks. There's one on either side. There is a large line in between them which for fuel, and then there's two vents up top which are essentially used to vent off any excess fumes and to make sure that you're not pulling a vacuum on the tank while you're using the system. So what we're going to build today in this video is we're actually going to put together a small charcoal canister. Now, I could have gone out and I could have bought one from a Fox body car, pretty much from any car to put in this, but I'm going to decide to make my own. So we're going to walk through step by step of building a small charcoal canister, and I'll report back like over a week how it's working and is it helping at all with the smell. So now the first question we're going to answer is, what is a charcoal canister? A charcoal canister is typically on the vent side of the fuel tank or the fuel system. And its main job is to absorb some of the fuel vapors that are going to occur just from running the car when you're filling it. So it's going to capture all those vapors so they don't get out to the atmosphere. After they're captured, there's another system within the charcoal canister, which ours is not going to have. And that other system will actually purge the vapors back into the engine to be burned. Now we're just going to build a charcoal canister out of simple materials you can get at Home Depot. So to build this charcoal canister, we have some PVC. We're going to be using this to contain the activated carbon. On either side, so we're going to cut this down, we're going to put one cap on this side that's going to be glued on, and then one cap on this side which is going to be removable. Now the main reason why we're setting it up like this is because over time the charcoal will get saturated and we'll need to replace it. On either side of this, so we're going to drill some holes, make a vent. We're going to end up putting some steel wool inside of this, and the main point for the steel wool is to hold the activated charcoal so it doesn't fall out. And then this granular activated carbon. This is what we're going to use to actually capture everything. So this is something that's typically used for fish tank, and it's set up for essentially aquarium filters. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start this. So on the size of it, I'm just selecting a size that I think is going to look okay in the car. We'll see over time if it gets saturated and I need to replace it or to go to a larger size later. But for now, I'm going to start for something I think is at a reasonable size that is going to easily fit. Now another way you could have done this is instead of drilling all these holes in the bottom, you could have just put a fitting here and then dropped a vent tube or a draft tube down to the ground underneath the car and away from everything. That would work, but I wanted to use this since it'll be a cleaner look. All right, so now that I have everything here, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna glue everything together with some PVC cement. Now we just have to wait for this to dry. Then after it dries, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna paint it. Okay, so now to hook this up to the tube, I'm gonna have to drill a hole and tap it for this fitting. So we're gonna install this fitting directly into the top of here so we can connect it to the car. Okay, now I usually don't use drills for this, but I'm gonna have to because my tap handle does not fit the size of this. And this is only going through PVC, so I'm not worried about breaking the tap. Okay, so I think it came up pretty good. Now it's a little bit of run there, but that's not that big of a problem for me because it's going to be hidden. The new Rust-Oleum paint cans have interesting different knobs on here. It's going to take a while to get used to, but you know, overall it came out pretty good for a matte black. So I'm going to end up putting this together. Now, the first steps that we're going to have to do is we're actually going to use this steel wool, and we're going to take the steel wool and then pat it in the bottom so that it covers those holes. And the main point of the steel wool is to make sure that no material comes out the bottom here. So I put in enough just so that I don't see light through the other side. Okay, now with that in there, we can go ahead and put some of the activated carbon in. Now that's what the activated carbon looks like. I need to find a good way to just put some, scoop it in. Maybe a funnel. Actually, a funnel would work well. So I don't have a funnel, so I'm just going to use this and to catch it as I put it in. Okay, so I'm pretty much all the way full. Now I might put a little bit more steel wool on the top here just to make sure that nothing comes up and out, but it shouldn't. Now with this all done, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to screw it together, tighten it up. Should be ready to mount to the car. Now we are completely together. So now that we're together, probably going to spray it one more coat of black. Why this part came out glossy, I don't know. I used matte black, satin protective enamel. But this side's more glossy. You know, I'm going to cover it one more time, make sure I got everything, but you can see it's not making any noise when I shake it. Overall, everything looks like it came out pretty well. And I think it'll mount to the car well, so that, I mean, you won't notice it. It looks just like another piece of the chassis. So, on to the car. All right, so I'm gonna end up mounting this somewhere here on the fuel system. And here's the vent line that I have been using, which is currently temporarily blocked off. But I'm gonna cut this and I'm gonna end up putting this here. I don't know exactly where I'm gonna mount it yet. All I know is it's gonna be below the fuel vent line, probably down here somewhere. I just need to put the rest of the car together to figure out where it's gonna go. So for now, I'm just gonna cut it, have it temporarily here, but I'll mount it somewhere later. So let me go ahead and attach this. Okay, so that's probably where it's gonna end up fitting, somewhere in that area, probably a little bit lower, but it really depends on if there's any metal structures around here that go on when I put the body on. All right, so we have the charcoal canister mounted, and it's actually making a big difference where the garage doesn't smell like fuel all the time, so I'm really happy about this. So one of the next GTM projects we're gonna be working on is we're gonna be working on buttoning up all the wiring on this car and getting everything set so that I can put the body on it to start doing some body work. I think I'm going to do a lot of the body work before we do some of the interior work because I don't want to make it a mess. So that's coming up. So don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like this video. I'll see you next time on Smacky's Garage.